Okay, so you can see my ugly face in there. What am I doing now? Okay, first off, I had to get it nice and toasty in there. It's cold out. I mean, it's cold down here in the basement too. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to hook up switches for these houses up here. So let me explain first, real quick. Okay, so part of my problem is I've got wires hanging down everywhere, so I'm trying to figure out how to do this right. But um, the lights up here, I got light through this building here. I got a light for here, and I got a light for the tower up there. Um, I don't even see that. So what I'm doing now is I've got wires everywhere. Because I want to take and splice. The idea is I had to go get some new stuff here, and what I was missing was not these, but these couplers. And what I'm trying to do, the idea is to try and I'm trying to put 3 wires on one coupler. Hi guys, how you doing? How everybody? Well, hello. You're a ways away. Thank you for watching. I'm working on my model railroad this time. We're trying to. And so I'm gonna tell you a story about this thing. Now, I think this layout's like 15 years old. And when I started it, I wasn't thinking, all right, no, this is end gauge. So what I did was, I drew the layout in my head and I just laid it in there. Big mistake. Because things change over time, and since I can't make my damn mind up, it's kind of like a pain. Uh, so, needless to say, is I have to figure out a way to try and make it so that I have all these wires on one. I want to switch this. I'm using this switch. I haven't figured it out. It's got 3 prongs on there. These 2 in the back here are actually the 2 I want to use. I don't know what the third one's for. I still haven't figured it out. I got Lionel. I also got HO. It's over there. I can't make my mind up, John. The bulk of my layouts are actually on here, so. But what I have an issue with right now, actually, is these things. So, what I'm doing We don't have, the problem is we don't have a place where I can get electrical stuff right away. So I'm kind of screwed. Um, so what I got to do, what I want to do actually, is I've got a lot of this stuff is going to be wired. There's electrical. I'm wiring the way it is now. I'm going to wire 3 buildings on one switch. My track has an issue. When I run over, well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 switches. When I go over one of the switches, they do have an issue. They don't. For some reason, it's like a dead spot, you know. So right now, I'm just trying to modify something here. Unfortunately, I have to take and cut these because I can't get the right. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So I've had to change these things about 15 times from Sunday, you know. The problem I'm having is just when I think I was gonna do this right, I have to do this a different way now. So there we go, dropping everything again. Anyway, yeah, that's not gonna work. See, what my idea was is I wanted to get something bigger because the wires that go in here are a little bit different. They're a little bit bigger. And I don't seem to be getting anywhere. Oh, there they are. I got wires on top of wires. You guys ever wire something like this? It's ridiculous. So who's a lead train guy out there? Anybody? My friend Al was on the other channel making a mess out of his. See, that's what I need wire wise. I need a big hole. A big hole. Uh, well, well. You ever one of those? They have one of those days where nothing works. Uh, okay, so the object of the game here is I've got to figure out a way to put 4 wires in this hole. Ain't gonna happen, is it? Change of plans. See, this is what happens to me. I get ahead of myself. I just wasted a bunch of stuff because I can't find anything that fits it. So, well, that goes like that. So let's try something here. Oh yeah, some of the stuff that I'm working with is so small, it's ridiculous. Okay, so that's that. That's A. Okay, so what happened to B? That's the other one too. And then you got to take and strip that. Now, this is one. What I'm gonna do, I got some honking ones. I got some big ones here. Some honking, big honking ones. There's no electrical store around here, which is a pain. You know what it is? You guys ever seen this one yet? You want to see what it is? I'll show you. This one right here. I just got that for Christmas. Okay, so this is the big boy. If you know what the big boy is, it's, as far as I know, I think it's the world's biggest train. I saw that thing years ago when it was in a park. It was a museum piece. And they pulled it out and restored it, and it goes right by my house. It goes right by my house. That's a big boy. I'll show you. Watch. Hey, it'll go. And now, if I turn the light off, all right, I'll show you. I'll turn the light off a little bit. You got to see this because it's kind of cool. You see it? Now wait, it'll come over here. I've got it pointing over here. So wait a minute. There's a dead spot in that thing. See that? That's the big boy. That's my newest one. Yep. Yeah, and it wasn't cheap either, let me tell you. That's awesome. I splurged and got it for Christmas present. So there you go. And it's I love it. I love it. It's now they're selling 2 different versions of them. One puts out steam or smoke. This one doesn't. And I didn't want that one anyway, so I probably could have got it, but it was $200 more. For what? Ridiculous. All right. So, yeah, that's what I've been fooling around with off and on. That, hang on a second here. I got it. Thing's not cutting. You guys ever have these problems trying to get stuff out of something like this? It's like ridiculous. But the other one works. The other one I have works too. The only problem with that is I have to change the couplers on them. My couplers, their standard couplers, are no good anymore. They keep bending up and they don't. Watch when I go over to. I'll be surprised if one of them doesn't come off. See? The problem I have with those things is that they come off and it drives me nuts. All right, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, people want to know what I'm doing. I was doing woodworking earlier, but I'm in a standstill right now, so I thought I'd come in and watch you do this. See, now my idea here was to put 3 in 1. So I got one big one, and what I'm going to do, that one I was showing you, where'd it go? This one right here. This hooks up to one side of this controller. There's a controller here. I'm trying to figure out how to, and this goes to one side of it. So what I'm doing with this, though, is I'm just doing one side. And this is the thing. I wished I had an electronics store here somewhere, but now the idea is to get 3 in there, because what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 houses there. Actually, doing one house. I'm doing the one house on the top. That's the lookout tower up by my engine there for my Lionel, and then the castle. I want them on one switch. The firehouse will be on its own switch, and that firehouse will be red. So now I have a ton of wiring to do when it comes to that stuff. That's the other thing. So now, the way it stands, if you were just to hook up one, you would take these 2 here and hook them directly to your power supply. So the idea here is to splice. You put the wires you want to put on here first, then you hook those 2 to each individual. You basically have to do each separate. So you're splicing 2 different wires. So what I have to do is find a wire to the 2 houses, connect them together with this. And I just put that on. When I pull it off the switch. You got it? Actually, yeah. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm prepping it. Although my wires keep getting shorter because I keep cutting them. So that's why I got a lot of wire. The only thing that's bad about this, I started using, years ago I was using telephone wire, too small. Now, the idea is to get another strand that's going to connect all the wires together. Anyway, it's getting complicated. So, anyway, I want to take you out here in a little bit. I got to turn this off. And it gets hot in here with this. Okay, so in here is my kiln. Okay, so that's my latest. Not bad, huh? Now, this is what they call a. You see the color content on it? That's a crabapple tree. So, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over here and let it cool off a little. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm judging it. I got 3 coats of polyurethane on there, mid-wax polyurethane. Wipe on poly, where you just use a rag and wipe it on. And it's uh, this next coat that I put before I put it on, I want to sand it with like 1,000 grit. I want to get it smooth so that the next time I do it, it's like a baby's butt. Because usually I put like 5 or 6 on coats, usually about 5 to 6, and it kind of, depending on the wood, it shows it up really good. Now it's a softer wood. It's not real heavy like some of the woods. So when I take this and I try to put something on it later on after it cools off, what I'll do is I think it get a little too hot. I have to go back in here a little bit more and sand it, but that's not a big deal. Um, the way I came about doing this, and I explained it in some of my videos I got here. There's a couple of procedures I do. Now this is a branch off a crabapple tree. Okay, so what I did was I cut it to a certain length. Okay, then I started turning it to a point to where I wanted it cylindrical. But because this thing was kind of oddball shaped, that's where this comes in. So it's not exactly round. Okay, so if you look at it, it's flat right here. And that's the way I wanted it when I started out in the first place. So to save some of it because of all this, that it brings out a lot of the luster in this thing, the characteristics of the type of wood it is. Okay, so when I got it to a certain point, then what I did is I took and I put my chuck on. I have to go around all this crap. My others. Okay, so you can tell it's a mess right here, but what I did is I took a chuck. There's a chuck I put on this end. It's like a drill press chuck. This. So now people wonder how you do pins. Well, this is it. You put this in here. This pops off. And then you put the drill bit in there, tighten it down, bring it up to this, and once you get it set in the right spot, all you do is you turn that handle and it'll bring the drill bit in. Now there's two things that you have to be aware of. This is 7 inches deep. It's actually 8 inches tall, but it's 7 inches deep, or it's 7.5. You want to measure how far down you want to go. So normally I give it about a half an inch from here to here. That's as far as I want to go. Then I take either a paddle bit. There's three different bits I use. One is I take a 1/4 inch regular drill bit. I drill down to a certain point. Then I stop. I pull it out. I put a paddle bit in. Then I pull it out. Do the same thing. I want to get this top corner first. Then I'll take the third thing will be a Forstner bit that's usually 1.5 inches wide. I'll drill it down to here. Okay, so once I got a hole going in the middle, I'll go to a certain point and stop, because the chuck's head is bigger than what my opening is going to be. So I have to work at it. So 3 times I do a wedge, what I call a wedge procedure, where I take this and I'll go down in the middle. If there's any left over, what I'll do is I'll stop. I'll start taking my chisel, my gouging, and I'll gouge this out, my bowl gouge to get it like this, or just a little bit bigger. Then I'll go the same thing. I'll do it to the point to where I got it like this. Now this is tapered in here on purpose. Instead of it going straight down here and back in there like I did, it's because it's a vase. So I want everything in the bottom. You know, when you have flowers, you want it to be tight and like this and not spread out. So that's how I did this. Eventually, if you put something heavy in here, then what I'll do is I'll probably put I could put fishing weights in the bottom to keep them from moving around. But other than that, it's actually a pretty good job. It's time consuming in a way, till you get. I've done this a couple of times. I also did some smaller ones. Same idea, smaller bits. Now this is Osage, but I took a branch out. I've got a bunch of the smaller ones. I took a branch and tried and did it with this. So, yeah, it works. Um, so now, when I do stuff like that, I like to show people. Now, some of my videos that I have on here will show you that. So if anybody's interested, again, hit me up, because I'll do another one. And my train's going off. Anyway, I'm going to get off now. I want to say thank you to everybody for watching the Dutchmans Woodshop / trains. I thought it'd be kind of nice to do the trains a little bit. Like I said, I love doing trains. Someday I'm going to have the bigger one going. You see how they wiggle? Okay. Part of the problem with this, I have to show you this. The hooks in here are different. The couplers, there's a different style than what's on these cars. So I have to convert them to the other end. So all the new cars you're getting in hobby shops now are going to a different coupler, because these bend, they come off. And I don't have one I can show you. Well, wait a minute. It's this kind of coupler. You don't want that. Okay, so the idea is to get, it's hard to see, but there's couplers in here that are hooked. And they're metal, so I can do conversion kits so they can have the coupler on here. So now I'm going to get this section done enough to where I can start putting all the foliage in it. The other thing is I've got resin I want to do in here, this pond over here, this lake that I built. And I do have fishing boats and stuff in that, so that's going to be the next thing. But anyway, I'm going to get off here for a second because I've got a half hour into it. And I'll get back to you later on tonight. Thanks for watching Dutchman's Wood Shack. Feel free to subscribe. I'm going to set up another channel for the trains too eventually. But just leave a question or comment and where you're from. I'm going to take a note of everybody that's on here. So leave your name and where you're from, what country you're from. Let me know. I love it. I want to say kudos or I thank you everybody from around the world watching me. I appreciate that. It's awesome. Okay, I'll let you guys go now. But first thing, if you're not being creative, you're not making sawdust. So let's think outside the box and be creative. Make the world a happy place. God bless. And I can't turn it off.